Disclaimer. This is an original fan fiction episode inspired by The Young and the Restless. It is not an official CBS script or episode transcript. Genoa City woke beneath a gray morning sky, but inside the Newman world, the storm had already begun. Victoria Newman stood alone in the living room, staring through the windows without really seeing the city beyond them. Her phone sat untouched on the table. She had received 3 messages from her family that morning. One from Nikki, one from Victor, one from Nick. She had answered none of them. Victoria had spent years convincing herself that she could handle anything. Business battles, family betrayals, broken relationships, enemies, scandals. But lately, everything felt different. She wasn't sure how much longer she could keep pretending that she was fine. A knock sounded at the door. Victoria turned. Kyle? Kyle Abbott stood there, looking equally surprised to see her expression. I hope I'm not interrupting. Victoria shook her head. No. Actually, I'm glad you're here. Kyle stepped inside. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Their families had spent generations fighting over companies, money, power, and pride. The Abbotts and Newmans rarely agreed on anything. Yet somehow, Kyle and Victoria had begun finding common ground. Kyle noticed the sadness in her eyes. What happened? Victoria looked away. Everything. Kyle gave a small smile. That sounds serious. It is. She finally looked at him. Nick is struggling. My family is falling apart. Newman Enterprises feels like a battlefield, and every time I think I can finally breathe, something else happens. Kyle nodded. I understand more than you think. Victoria studied him. Because of your family? Because of my family. Because of Jabot. Because I've spent most of my life trying to prove that I'm not just Jack Abbott's son. Victoria smiled faintly. And have you? Kyle considered the question. Some days. Victoria laughed softly. It was the first real laugh she'd managed all morning. Kyle smiled. There, that's better. Victoria looked at him for a long moment. You always seem to know what to say. Don't get used to it. I already am. The words hung between them. Kyle's expression changed. Victoria noticed. And suddenly, neither of them was laughing. At the Newman estate, Victor Newman stood near the fireplace while Nikki watched him carefully. This isn't getting better, Nikki said. Victor's jaw tightened. I know. Nick needs help. I know. And Victoria is carrying all of this on her shoulders. Victor turned toward his wife. Victoria is strong. So was Nick. Victor didn't answer. Nikki stepped closer. Victor, being strong doesn't mean you don't need someone. Victor looked toward the window. For once, the great Victor Newman seemed uncertain. I don't know how to fix this. Nikki reached for his hand. You don't always have to fix everything. Victor gave her a skeptical look. That sounds like something you say when you don't know what else to tell me. Maybe, she smiled. But it is still true. Victor's phone buzzed. He checked the screen. His expression immediately hardened. What is it? Nikki asked. Nothing. Victor. He slipped the phone into his pocket. It's business. Nikki knew better, but before she could press him, Victor walked away. Crimson lights. Kyle and Victoria sat across from each other at a quiet table. Neither seemed interested in their coffee. I still can't believe we're doing this, Kyle said. Doing what? Having a normal conversation. Victoria smiled. Is that forbidden? With our families? Probably. Victoria laughed again. Kyle watched her. You should smile more. She raised an eyebrow. Careful. Why? Because people might think you're flirting. Kyle's smile disappeared for half a second, then returned. What if I am? Victoria stared at him. The noise of the cafe seemed to disappear. Kyle quickly looked away. I was joking. Victoria didn't answer. because she knew he wasn't. Abbott Mansion. Jack Abbott was already angry. Billy entered the room. "You look like you've been waiting for a fight." Jack turned. "I've been waiting for you?" "That usually means trouble." Jack held up a document. "This is what you've been planning?" Billy looked at it. "You went through my things?" "You left it sitting on my desk." Billy sighed. "It isn't finished." "That's not the point." "Then what is?" Jack lowered his voice. "The point is that you're making a move that could put the entire family at risk." Billy stared at him. "You don't understand." "Then explain it." Billy hesitated. "I can't." Jack's expression hardened. "Then you're making this impossible." Kyle entered. "What's impossible?" Billy and Jack exchanged looks. "Nothing," Billy said. Kyle immediately knew that was a lie. "What are you two hiding?" Billy looked at his nephew. "Not today." Kyle frowned. "That's exactly what people say when they're hiding something." Jack stepped between them. "Kyle, let it go." Kyle shook his head. "No." He looked at Billy. "Something is happening." Billy stared back. "You have no idea." Kyle walked out. Jack followed him with his eyes. "This is going to explode," Jack muttered. Billy nodded. "Soon." Victoria's office. Victoria returned to Newman Enterprises and tried to focus. She opened a report, read 3 lines, closed it, opened another document. Her phone buzzed. A message from Kyle. "You okay?" Victoria stared at it. She smiled despite herself. She typed, "I'm fine." Then deleted it. She wrote, "Not really." She sent it. Kyle responded almost immediately. "Want company?" Victoria hesitated. Then, "Yes." Nick's crisis. At the Newman Ranch, Nick sat alone. His family had tried everything. He knew that. But he didn't want another lecture. He didn't want another argument. Most of all, he didn't want anyone looking at him like he was broken. Adam entered. Nick immediately stood. "Get out." Adam stopped. "I'm not here to fight." "That's what you always say." Adam looked at his brother. "You think I don't understand?" "You don't." Adam stepped closer. "I understand what it's like when your own family doesn't know what to do with you." Nick's expression changed. "Don't pretend we're the same." "I didn't say we were." Adam paused. "But I know what it feels like to be the Newman everyone expects to be perfect." Nick laughed bitterly. "Perfect?" "No." Adam's voice softened. "Just useful." Nick looked away. Adam continued, "You don't have to handle everything alone." Nick's frustration exploded. "I said get out." Adam didn't move. "Nick, get out!" Nick shoved past him. Adam caught his arm. Nick turned angrily. "Let go!" Adam released him. For a second, the brothers stared at each other. Then Nick walked away. Adam remained standing there. His face showed concern rather than anger. Victoria and Kyle arrived at Victoria's office. She looked exhausted. "I shouldn't have called you." "You're allowed to change your mind." Victoria shook her head. "No, I'm glad you're here." Kyle sat across from her. "What happened?" "Nothing." He smiled. "You're terrible at lying." "So are you." Kyle laughed. Victoria looked down. "I don't know why I feel like I can talk to you." "Maybe because I don't have an agenda." She looked up. "That's rare in my family." "And mine." Silence. Victoria stood and walked toward the window. Kyle joined her. "You know what scares me?" she whispered. "What?" "That I don't recognize my own life anymore." Kyle looked at her. "You're not alone." Victoria turned. They were standing closer than either realized. "Why are you always there?" Kyle didn't answer immediately. "Maybe I want to be." Victoria's eyes widened. "Kyle, I know." "No, you don't." I think I do. She stepped backward. This is complicated. Very. Your family hates mine. That's true. You were involved with Claire. Kyle's face tightened. I know. She is my daughter. I know. Victoria looked at him. And yet, Kyle whispered, and yet. Neither moved. Then Victoria closed the distance. Their lips met. The kiss lasted only a moment, but it changed everything. They immediately stepped apart. Victoria looked stunned. Kyle looked equally shocked. That shouldn't have happened, Victoria said. Kyle nodded. No. They stared at each other. But it did. After the kiss, Victoria walked to the other side of the room. Kyle remained silent. I can't do this, Victoria said. You don't have to. I mean it. I know. This could destroy everything. Kyle nodded. Yes. Victoria turned. Then why aren't you leaving? Kyle looked at her. Because I don't think either of us wants me to. Victoria's eyes filled with emotion. She looked away. I need time. Kyle nodded. You can have it. He walked toward the door. Before leaving, he turned. Victoria? She looked at him. I meant what I said. What? I want to be there for you. Then he left. Victoria remained alone. She touched her lips, overwhelmed by what had just happened. The Abbott family learned something is wrong. Kyle returned home. Jack immediately noticed his expression. What's going on? Nothing. Jack raised an eyebrow. You're my son. Kyle sighed. That doesn't mean you know everything. Billy entered. What's wrong with Kyle? Jack looked at him. That's what I'm trying to find out. Kyle shook his head. Forget it. Billy watched Kyle carefully. You've been spending a lot of time with Victoria Newman. Kyle froze. Jack looked at him. Victoria? Kyle said nothing. Billy's expression changed. Oh no. Kyle stared at him. What? Billy shook his head. Nothing. Jack stepped closer. Kyle. Kyle looked at his father. Don't ask. Jack immediately understood that this was serious. Is this about business? No? Then what? Kyle walked away. Billy watched him disappear. Jack. What? I think we're about to have a Newman Abbott disaster. Jack sighed. When aren't we? Victor gets a warning. Victor received a call. He listened silently. His expression changed. Are you certain? A pause. Find out everything. He ended the call. Nikki entered. What happened? Victor looked at her. There's something involving Victoria. Nikki immediately became concerned. What? I don't know yet. You're worried. Victor nodded. Very. Victoria confides in Nikki. Victoria arrived at the ranch. Nikki immediately hugged her. You look troubled. Victoria struggled to speak. Mom, what happened? Victoria sat. I made a mistake. Nikki waited. Was someone hurt? No. Was it business? No. Nikki looked into her daughter's eyes. Then tell me. Victoria whispered, Kyle. Nikki froze. Kyle Abbott? Victoria nodded. Nikki slowly sat beside her. What happened? Victoria's voice broke. We kissed. Nikki stared at her. Victoria, I know. Do you have feelings for him? Victoria looked away. I don't know. Nikki softened. Yes, you do. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. I think I do. Nikki took her hand. This isn't going to be easy. I know. Especially because of Claire. Victoria closed her eyes. That is what makes it worse. Kyle's confession. Meanwhile, Kyle found Jack alone. I need to tell you something. Jack looked up. I'm listening. Kyle sat. I kissed Victoria. Jack's expression went blank. Victoria Newman? Yes. Jack slowly leaned back. Why? I don't know. That's not an answer. Kyle sighed. She was hurting. I was there. Things got complicated. Jack stared at him. Son, Victoria is not just anyone. I know. She is a Newman. I know. She is your former love interest's mother. Kyle looked down. I know. Jack shook his head. This could destroy you. Kyle looked up. Maybe. Do you have feelings for her? Kyle didn't answer. Jack's silence became heavier. Finally, Kyle said, yes. Jack closed his eyes. Then we're in serious trouble. The line. Later that evening, Victoria returned to her office. She found Kyle waiting outside. You shouldn't be here. I know. Then why are you? Because I couldn't stop thinking about you. Victoria looked at him. That isn't helping. I know. He stepped closer. I don't want to pretend it didn't happen. Victoria whispered, neither do I. They stood in silence. This changes everything, she said. Kyle nodded. Then maybe we stop pretending everything was working before. Victoria looked at him. You're asking me to cross a line? No. Kyle shook his head. I'm asking you what you want. Victoria's eyes filled with emotion. I want... She stopped. Kyle waited. I want you to stay. He did. They didn't kiss again. Instead, they simply stood together, knowing that even without another kiss, the boundary had already been crossed. The final shock. At Newman Enterprises, Victoria received an unexpected message. I know about you and Kyle. Her face went pale. She stared at the screen. Another message appeared. And so does someone else. Victoria immediately called Kyle. He answered. What happened? I think someone knows. Knows what? About us. Silence. Kyle's voice became serious. Who? I don't know. Then Victoria's phone rang. Private number. She answered. Hello? A distorted voice spoke. You two have made a very big mistake. Victoria's expression changed. Who is this? The caller laughed softly. You'll find out soon. The call ended. Victoria stared at Kyle. What are we going to do? Kyle looked at her. For once, he took her hand. We face it together. Outside the office, someone stood in the shadows, watching, waiting, and holding a photograph of Kyle and Victoria. The screen went black.